Hey, Eurovision fam, it's Alesia Michelle. I am so excited today because I'm not alone, which is always nice when I'm not alone, and I am being joined by another representative of the American Song Contest. Yes, y'all better get hyped for this. And it is Georgia's representative, Stela Cole. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Hey, everyone. Thanks. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so
Yeah.
stoked.
So I have to kind of kick off. Did you know about Eurovision? Did you know what you were getting into when you sort of threw your hat in the ring for this American Song Contest thing?
Okay, so I've always been familiar with Eurovision, and ABBA is one of my biggest influences, and they changed pop music forever when they won in the 1970s. And Måneskin last year has obviously been crushing it. So I'm very, very familiar and supportive of Eurovision. But I didn't know what the American Song Contest was at first because we had never had one. But someone reached out to my manager about me auditioning and representing Georgia. And so once we got that little email, I kind of looked into it and I was like, oh, wait, this is so sick. This is like the first American version of Eurovision. And it's like run by the same people too. So I was like, yo, I have to be a part of this. This is so sick.
That's awesome. And I have to say, so representing Georgia for you, I mean, the cool thing about the American Song Contest is it is not just being broadcast in the States, it's also being
Right.
broadcasted in Europe. So, are there any misconceptions about Georgia that you want to clear up for folks just right now?
I mean, I'm trying to think like people that I don't think so. I don't think there's any off the top of my head. I mean, people like for sure have Southern accents, but Southern accents are super cute and adorable, and Southern hospitality is a really like real sweet thing. I
No,
would,
I think that's right. No, just you've cleared up something for folks already. But then the other thing that I think is really cool about Georgia is I think that you're kind of a state that's going into the American Song Contest with a little bit of hype. And I think you're bringing some of that hype along with you. So do you feel a little bit of pressure representing Georgia, which is I mean it's sort of like an iconic music
it
state, I
is.
would say.
It is. I mean, I definitely feel like super nervous because I want to represent my state as well as possible. But I'm also like more than anything, I'm just so honored because one, it's home for me. It's where my family lives. It's where my friends are. It's where I literally grew up, and it's where I first got into music. But I'm just so mostly honored to represent a state that has such a rich, incredible music history. And there are so many different genres of music and so many incredible artists that have come out of, the heart of Atlanta and then just Georgia in general, like over the years, and just getting to represent all of that is the coolest thing to me ever.
No, I love that when you talk about all of those different influences because I feel like when we talk about your sound, I think some people might just want to say okay, she's a pop girl. But your sound I think is it has a little bit more depth than that. So, if
Yeah.
you had to describe your sound to folks, what would you say? And who do people say, maybe not who you think you sort of remind folks of, but who do people say you remind them of?
That's a really, really great question. And I will say people actually struggle to pinpoint anything that I sound like, which is something I'm super proud of because I will say the cool thing about growing up in Georgia is being influenced by so many different genres of music. I ever since I got into music, I've been, kind of creating a melting pot of a sound. I don't really have I don't ever feel like I have to be boxed in, and getting to always push boundaries and experiment with music and never being afraid to do that has obviously, created the sound that I have now, which even though it's pop, it sometimes teeters the line of hip hop a little bit. And I borrow from so many different eras and genres of music that no one is really ever able to pinpoint exactly like who I remind them of. I don't know. I get vocally, people say I sound like Amy Winehouse from time to time, but not all the time. Um, I've actually had a couple people say that I sound a little bit outcasty, which is like a huge compliment to me because
That's awesome.
one of my number one influences. And you can actually hear it a lot in my song DIY, especially in the production. It has like a lot of brass and like a lot of really cool characteristics production wise, that I kind of pulled from Outkast. So that's pretty dope. But I don't know, my references are pretty all over the place. People struggle to pinpoint where my influences come from, which I personally like really fuck with that because it's such a melting pot of sounds.
No, I think that that's so smart. And I think, anytime folks like try to go, oh, well, I'm going to do this, it's like, hey, branch out. I think that that's really, really smart. And with that, I'm asking everyone this question. And it's sort of a question that I've even asked when I talk to like Eurovision folks. But if you could like steal someone's career, is there someone that you look at sort of the pathway that they've traversed in your career and you're like, oh, like that looks pretty dope. I'd be happy if I just kind of like walked that path.
I gotta say Rihanna. I don't know. I look up to Rihanna so much, and just like growing up, she was like the role model for me, like musically, and then everything that she has like sunk her teeth into, she has just crushed, and she's built this massive empire around her, whether it's like fashion or makeup or whatever, or lingerie brand, like. Her music, it's like everything that she does is so well executed and just so fucking cool. Everything she does is cool, and I just look up to her so much because she's also just a really empowering woman. And I would have to say I would love to be able to build even half the empire that she's built. Like, I look up to her so much, and she's definitely the one for me.
I love that. I love that. And I mean, another thing about Rihanna that's so dope is just like how she like gets on the stage and performs. And we haven't seen it lately, Rihanna, we haven't seen it lately. But I mean, she really has made a mark, I think, even just as a performer. And this is one of the things about the American Song Contest that I think is so different from like an American Idol, A Voice, or any of those other kind of like talent variety shows, is you actually get to like work with a creative team and sort of introduce yourself and have it be a part of like this like staging package. So I know you can't tell us like what you're gonna do on the stage, but can you just any nuggets of or tidbits that you could kind of give us of what we can expect, not just to hear but to see from you on the stage?
I will say that has been the really cool thing about American Song Contest, because I just getting to perform an original song on national television is like, so I'm so stoked for that. And all I gotta say is like my performance is go big or go home. It's gonna be massive.
We love it. We love it.
Lots of flashing lights. Like it's gonna be fucking hype.
Oh, I'm okay. Now I'm really excited because I'm the girl that's like, okay, yes, the song can be good. It's about the song, but I think half of it is like, okay, how you actually bring that song to life, like on the stage.
There's gonna be a lot of sass too, just because my song DIY is so tongue in cheek and just like in your face. I really, really have been focusing on making sure that the performance also matches that energy. So
yay, I love it. So did you watch the first episode of the show? Like, did it make you feel more nervous, or were you kind of like, okay, I like now I'm hype, now I'm like ready to kind of like go into gear?
I mean, honestly, both. I was just first and foremost just blown away by the level of production, because we've never had this show before. So I was kind of on the edge of my seat, being like, I don't know what to expect. Like, okay. And then, I was blown away by the production. Everyone's performances were just unbelievable, honestly. And I'm a huge fan of Alexa's performance. Like, she crushed it. And then the New Boo Goofin' by Ryan Charles is literally my favorite song. Like, I love it so much. But yeah, I don't think it even really made me nervous. I think it just made me hype. I'm like, holy crap, this is real. This is massive. Like, I cannot believe that I'm about to do this.
No.
I'm stoked.
No, you're so right. And I have to say, okay, so we're going to have to close this out, and people are going to have to like vote for you. So like, here is your moment to pitch it out to the world. Why everyone needs to hop on TikTok, get online, go on the app, and vote for Georgia.
I'm so bad at pitching myself sometimes. Y'all, my song is fire. That's all I gotta say. My song is insane. I've never been so proud of a song, and I've never also been so proud to represent my state. Like, I love Georgia. I love music, and I'm gonna do my very, very best to represent it the best I can. So make sure that you vote for me, vote for DIY, vote for Georgia, and let's fucking go.
Thank you so much for talking with me today. Break a leg. And we're gonna be tuning into what Georgia is putting down on the stage. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.